Hi, my name is Stephen Warren. I'm one of the programmers from Alpha Revolver Games, and we're working on Little Monsters Grand Adventure. What you can see in front of you is one of our mini games, the one that I'm currently developing. It's called Monster Mayhem, and yeah, I have Malcolm and Darius with me. Darius is the lead designer for the
Hiya.
project, and Malcolm is our lead artist.
Hey.
So today, this video is just going to be a general discussion about Monster Mayhem, what we're planning, why we made some of the decisions we've made, how we've handled challenges, and we're just going to go round the houses, a little bit of talking about each element of the game. A couple of caveats to note at this point: there's no sound effects in the game apart from our memory short, which sound is very integral to that particular short, so that's why there are placeholder sound effects there. But we don't have any sound for the rest of the game currently. The other thing to note is obviously this is in the early stage of development, so nothing's final. It's all very subject to change, and further testing is going to be required in order to really nail down any of the variables that are in the level, such as difficulty, scaling, or anything like that. So please bear that in mind. So we're going to start at the beginning, because the first thing you usually do in a project like this is design. You plan out what you're going to do, and that starts with a concept. So Darius, can you tell us a bit about what the concept for Monster Mayhem is, and why we chose to go this direction?
Well, it first started off with at the start of the project, Malcolm and I were talking about ideas for minigames, and we were saying that we would like some shorts all together and make it like a one big minigame with different shorts. And it was kind of inspired by games such as WarioWare, as well as
Dumb Ways to Die?
yeah, Dumb Ways to Die, that was the other one. It's very heavily inspired by that, and we were not under illusions about that. But we thought we could make it into our own world. Now, Monster Mayhem is all about each of the wee pets going off on a wee adventure, and that's the general idea of the game. So they're all in different scenarios and different situations, and you as a player have got to, you know, help them or guide them in different situations, and that's just the general idea of the game.
So I believe what we're showing off today is the 6 base levels that you get with the kind of basic package of the game when you first start off. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. The reason that we're doing that is because at the start of the game we'll be introducing the 4 base pets, which is the pets that you see on the screen just now, and essentially the player will get to choose one, and then when they start to play the mini games, if they come to Monster Mayhem, they'll have from 6 levels which star these 4 pets, essentially a level each for each pet, and 2 games which involve all the pets that you've seen. And then the good thing about this game is, like, once you collect more pets in the base game, you'll unlock new levels for this game. So for instance, like, we have 3 different tiers, and then its second tier, if you unlock another Earth pet, you'll get another Earth kind of themed game.
Awesome, awesome. So can you tell me about some of the design challenges that you've had to face, and how you've maybe overcome them, or anything that you can think of that was a wee bit that had to be refined, or something that wasn't quite on the money the first time round?
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, ideas that I've written down need to be kind of talked to with the team, you know, talk at length with the team. And because you guys are designers, I felt it really easy. I could really talk to you guys easily in terms of, like, in a programming perspective and as in an artist perspective. And you really helped bring the game together really well. So it wasn't so much of a challenge in that aspect. I always just came up with a few ideas, and we would talk about which one was the best and then refine it. But the big challenges that I've had were trying to make kind of unique games that were all based on touch, and made the games kind of centered around a certain pet or a theme or element, and make sure it was fun, it lasted within a certain time zone. You know, we don't want the games to be too long, so they had certain conditions that had to be met, and yeah, that was the most challenging aspect of the game.
Awesome, awesome. So we've talked a little bit about design. Now we're going to shoot it over to Malcolm, our artist. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit, Malcolm, about your the art style for like Monster Mayhem and in fact Little Monsters Grand Adventure in general. I really like the art style. It's very I don't know, it's very appealing, very simplistic, and even the text that we've got right now is just placeholder text that might be changed later on. But I even like the simplicity of like how the text reflects your art style. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be the whole target audience we have for our entire game. You know, it's quite a broad audience, and we wanted something that it would appeal to anybody. You know, it's kind of it is simplistic, like you said. It's kind of cel shaded. It's quite easy to look at and quite easy to understand what's going on with all the different elements that we might throw in, and that actually made making Monster Mayhem in particular quite easy. Because each short is only between like 5, 10, 15 seconds, trying to get all the objects that the player has to interact with to make make it as obvious as possible. This kind of art style helps that, because you know it's easy to point something out without there's too much detail in the way. The backgrounds can be just like a kind of block colours and stuff like that, and then the foreground things can be much more obviously clickable or touchable and movable and stuff. So that makes it a lot easier in that sort of sense, because like I said, you've only got 5 seconds to react to a situation, and the same thing goes with the text that you were talking about earlier. We played about with a few different fonts, and we found that some of the fonts were like just almost like a hindrance to the player because it was so complex, or and we found one that was just like a simple, you can read it without any sort of in like a split second you've read what it says, and you can do what the level needs.
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. So I know from my personal experience, I joined this team in August, and since then I've been working exclusively on this minigame for the game. And this minigame, even though it is a minigame, it is an extremely large project in itself, because we're planning to have 14 levels, and we've actually got 10 of them done right now. So we're on to, I split them into modules of 3. So I've got the first 3, the second 3, which make up the 6 base levels, and then I've got another module of 3 done, and then we start in module 4 now, which we've got 1 level completed. And every single one of them, bar a few exceptions, is like full of new objects, right? You know what I mean? So we're constantly cranking out new art. We're constantly thinking about new games, new ways to make this game interesting and keep it fresh, but also tie it back into the pets worlds and them being on like these crazy adventures. I mean, our most recent level that we made was like about space and stuff like that, and you guys will see that later on. But I think this project is really interesting, but it is a lot of work, and it's important that even though it is a lot of work, we keep it fun for ourselves, and by making this new art and by continually branching out and challenging ourselves, like, we keep it exciting. Do you know what I mean? And that's just a little bit about me joining the project. I know that myself, I've had a few challenges in this project in particular, like the pecking level, the one where you've got to feed the bird pet Toro, I think his name is. That one was extremely challenging for me because of the amount of animations I had to time and regulate, and that was the first level where I really had a lot of animated objects on the screen at once. So that one was I was stuck on that for a good few days. The first levels that I did were like the frozen and the leaking levels, which are very simple. They had very few objects in them and stuff. So that was the really first complex level that I'd ever done. So yeah, we've talked a little bit about the implementation and the art now, and we talked about design. One of the most important things though that we haven't touched on yet is both, well, A, sound, and B, testing. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that, Darius?
Yeah, sound is getting completed by our musician Gary, which you might have heard in our previous videos. There's been some music available that you can hear in the kind of background, and it's not finalized, but yeah, you can hear it nonetheless. We actually have an Airballoon video, which we're also going to be releasing with this video, that also shows the music, so that's a good chance to see one of the games with like music and sound effects. And music and sound effects add so much to the game through the experience of the Airballoon game. I mean, we played that game in mute with no music and sound, and when that was thrown into the mix, it just added so much to it. and I'm really excited to see what happens with Monster Mayhem. So we'll be showing this, demonstrating this to Gary, and we'll be discussing different music and sound effects to make the game, you know, feel that wee bit more alive. In terms of testing, testing is a large part of any game development. You can't, you know, make a game without testing, and like this bug that just happened here, things like this will happen, and unfortunately that's just what happens. So testing is really great for catching these things out, and also for just to see if players really understand what it is that you're trying to achieve, and if they understand the controls and they understand what's going on. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, at its core, game development is an extremely iterative process. So you know, come up with a concept, you'll implement that concept, and then you'll test it to see if it meets the target audience's requirements or whatever. And then, you know, you refine the concept, you implement the refinements, and then you test it again. And you keep doing that until you've got your end product, right? And as well as weeding out bugs and whatever, we've got to make sure that the games we're making are not only fun, but they're relevant to both the user base and our game, right? Because there's no point in throwing in some random nonsense that's not even relevant. We've got to continue to make sure that we stay within the boundaries of our project, whilst pushing them as far as we can. You know what I mean? You don't want to be too safe about this kind of stuff. So Malcolm, let's talk about moving forward. What have we got left to do here? Because I know that we've got a few more pets left to make, right?
Yeah.
Well, and we've got 3 levels left to do, or 4?
I think it's 3 left.
No, 4 because
four,
because we've done 10, so we've got 4 left.
4, yeah, because we've 14 in total. Because we've got 12 pets, and 2 of the mini games are including all the pets. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I mean that's what we're working on. One of the problems is I've not actually finished making all of the 12 pets yet. So, and we're doing 1 mini game per pet. So one of the challenges is obviously making the pet as we go along with this. Right now we're just making. I think the next one we're working on right now is the dragon game.
We're doing the dragon game, which is one of the fire pets. Yeah.
And we're just working through that at the moment. But after that, I think the next 3 games have got to be. I've still to make pets for.
Yeah, so we've got to make the pet as we're making the game.
Yeah.
So what I'll probably do is I will get an idea down for, you know, the mechanics of the game, and I'll make up like one with placeholder art while you do the real art, and then we can throw it in later. Yeah, that's about it though. Not too much left to say. After this minigame's completed, I'll be moving on to the maze minigame. We'll be starting a new minigame. You can read into that what you will, but we're not gonna say too much about that until a little bit later on. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed our little development talk, and that's gonna be all from us until another video. So, bye, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Okay, thanks, and look out for our other videos. Thank you.